The FA Cup continues today, folks. As it stands at the moment, thanks to this cup run, we're actually running at a profit for the season. This is very, very important if we've got any chance of keeping any of these youngsters. Hello and welcome to part 12 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our FA Cup fourth qualifying round game away against Guiseley, plus an away game in the league against Knaresborough. Since you were last with me, we've only played a couple of games. I think the last ones you saw were Michelova and Alvechurch. We had a draw against Tadcaster Albion in the league. It was quite a disappointing draw, but remember, these three games have been without Dean Morris. Shane Phillips did score in that game, but we don't quite look the same team without Morris, although we did knock Conference South. I think they're Conference South? Conference North. Apparently Gloucester's in the North. It's not just at our level that North and South is broken. Conference North side Gloucester, we've knocked them out of the FA Trophy, so we are capable of taking the scalp of a bigger team, even without Dean Morris. Guiseley are slightly... Oh, actually, no, I thought they were in the National League itself, but they're also National League North. So, I mean, we've got previous for beating teams at this level this week. So, who knows what's about to happen. Something that has just happened, though. We've had our first offer for Dean Morris. Forest Green, they're determined to become part of this series after we cut them short in non-league to legend. Forest Green offered £1,600 for him. I went back to them and said, I presume you mean £500,000? And they laughed. So we just basically ended up laughing at each other and everyone left. So I think that deal is dead. But Dean Morris is not much longer for this club. He'll be gone very, very soon. And we're kind of in a race against time to get money for him. Or deciding if that's the right thing to do. Rangers are still lurking. Rangers will offer him a pre-contract on the 1st of January. Guarantee it, they will be offering him a pre-contract on the 1st of January if he's not got a new club by then. The advantage of that for us is we then get to keep him for the rest of the season, but then he goes for nothing. Other clubs will try and sign him before the 1st of January. They'll have to pay a fee, but if he goes to anywhere else, then he leaves straight away. So there has to be a big enough fee offered for it to be worth having the second half of the season without him. And to me, he's worth at least £250,000 to having him to the end of the season. I think if Grimsby, for example, came in and offered 40 grand for him, I think we turn that down and say, no, just go to Rangers at the end of the year. We'll keep you. He's made his debut for the England under-19s. He played in both games that he was called up for. So he is a proper hot prospect. He is currently very well suited to League Two football and could improve a lot in the future. This lad could end up in the Premier League. It's insane. But on the basis of that, we want money for him. If he can walk into a League Two team and be one of their better players, then give us 100 grand for him, someone, which I'd probably turn down. Give us £250,000 for him, and then we might do some business. But today, it's all about the FA Cup, because the other thing, if we can have an FA Cup run, we might not even need money for Dean Morris, in which case we can take money out of the equation and just say, right, we're keeping him to the end of the year, and then you can go off to Rangers and have your fun up in Scotland. So this is our team for the game against Guiseley. We are without Kieran Sheridan today, who got sent off in the replay against Gloucester. So we've got Daniel O'Sullivan playing. He's not played for us at all this season, or ever, in actual fact. I thought he had. I mean, he's one of the ones we signed when we sold Stephen Dunn, and apparently we've never played him, so he's going to make his debut. What a game to make your debut in. Morris is back from international duty, though. And exciting news about Shane Phillips. He's slowly learning to play as a central midfielder. He's now accomplished. He's not any good at any of the roles, so I'm not likely to bring him in today, but he has been training all season as a box-to-box midfielder, and hopefully, before too long, he'll be ready to slot into that position permanently. Knowing my luck, it'll be the day after Morris leaves and he has to start playing at the base of the diamond. But there might be a route into the team as a regular starter for Shane Phillips soon, because he is still one of the best players at the club, despite the fact he hardly ever gets to play, because probably the best player to come through our youth system in the next 10 or 15 years is ahead of him in the team. So we've got Yates in goal, a back four of Matthews, PNM, Beeston and Farrow, with Morris sat in front of them, Weeks and Parkin in the midfield with O'Sullivan in behind Harris and Powell, who, despite us playing very well against Gloucester, both Harris and Powell struggled a little bit against better opposition. I think there's potentially a little bit of a reality check going on for Mick Powell at the moment, because I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. He'll score a hat-trick today to prove me wrong. I know we're the underdogs here. Go out there, I'm not interested in cheering us on. We've got nothing to lose here. Let's show how good we are. That's no effect at all. I'm terrible at team talks. Luckily, our players are very good, and it doesn't matter very often. We've only lost one game this season. We have been in very, very good form. I mentioned it on yesterday's episode as well. I kind of wish. I mean, we've played more cup games than league games so far this season. The form we've been in, it probably won't last all season. It would have been lovely if we'd have been getting points on the board in the league. But if we do make it through to the first round proper of the FA Cup, then it kind of becomes worth it financially to have wasted all of this good form on cup competitions. But we are 1-0 down after 10 minutes. So that dream might be about to die. There doesn't seem like there's a lot of fans here at Guiseley, so there's not going to be a big payday from an attendance split. We do know from the last round we got 15 grand for winning. I don't know if you get any money in the round you get knocked out of. It could be that the cup run ends today and we didn't really make a huge amount of money from it, in which case, give me the form back for the league, because we would have rather had the points and have 1 foot in the next division up. Oh, what a strike that was. I thought that was flying into the top corner, at which point I was just going to be very upset, because there'd be no coming back from 2-0 down after 15 minutes. We had this a couple of times last year where we were looking very, very good, and then we'd just come up against a team that were just better than we are. We had it in the playoff semi-final where we couldn't do it, and I think we might be in one of those situations today. Clearly, Guiseley are a step above Gloucester, despite the two of them being in the same league, because we were very competitive against Gloucester. It took us penalties in a replay to get past them, but Powell's in, and Powell scores. What's all this? Not as good as he thinks he is. Mick Powell really struggled against Gloucester, but his first opportunity against Guiseley, and he picks up his 18th goal of the season. Mick Powell, I mean, he's still refusing to discuss anything in terms of a contract. It would be nice to think we might be able to tie him down to something if we have a nice cup run. But really, the cup run is all about generating the money to give Anthony Harris a proper contract. That means we can get a fee for him when he eventually leaves. I still don't think he'll be here forever, but at least if he's on a proper contract, we get a fee. And that's the thing with all these youngsters now. This first batch, at least, who are out of contract at the end of this season, if any of them, and probably most of them, but those who are going to be moving up to the next level, it's similar to the Morris discussion. We've got to decide, do we want to keep them all year and let them help us get promoted, or do we want to cash in on some of them? For example, Powell. If someone offered us 100 grand for Powell now, we let him go because he's refusing to discuss terms. Right. Let's try the opposite end then. We're the underdogs here. Go and give the fans they don't care about the fans. There are no fans here. We've got 50 people who've come with us. We've almost filled a coach. I don't know how far away Guiseley is from home. I've not looked, but I'd like to think we could have taken more than a coach full for the opportunity to make it into the first round proper of the FA Cup. But I guess not. And that is very high and very wide. And we're still struggling to get into this game. We need to, I don't know, should we show some passion? Let's show a bit of passion. A bit of passion never did anybody any harm. Hopefully we can have a very passionate second half and find a way ahead in this game, because that would be lovely. We'd like to win it. That's what football's all about. They're coming very, very close. We're doing well to still be in the game, but we really do need to push on and grab it by the scruff of the neck. And I think the first step towards doing that is to take off Parkin and bring on David Lynch in midfield, who's a much more natural player as the box-to-box midfielder. We make that change a lot now. Daniel O'Sullivan is struggling. We have got Seth Patrick and Stuart Marsh on the bench. Marsh-Mara on the bench. Shane Phillips as well. We could go to a 4-1-3-2 and just sit and play for a replay, but I don't really want to do that. We're just going to make that one change for now. We're going to tell him to get creative, and then we'll have another look in a minute. I don't want to take Anthony Harris off, but he's not played very well at all. And we have got two strikers on the bench who might be able to come on and make a bit of an impact. Harris with the flick on, but I mean, Powell's so far away from him there. the flick on is to nobody at all. And Guiseley come at us again. It's with O'Sullivan to Lynch. Lynch plays it forward to Mick Powell. Powell just runs towards Harris inexplicably. Powell shoots from range though, and it's a decent effort, but collected fairly comfortably by the Guiseley keeper. I think it is time to make a change, and we are going to make this change. We're going to bring on Marsh for O'Sullivan. We haven't done this change since the days of James Hayter. And I think we'll do it exactly the same way. We'll make him a deep lying forward. I don't know if he's capable of doing it, but I guess this is how you find out if he can do it or not. He's come on in a James Hayter costume, a James Hayter mask. Can he just come on and do what Hayter used to do when he came on in these circumstances? We've given them so much time to get that shot away there. That was really poor defending. Let's have a look at this from the other angle. Farah's the one, I guess, who's supposed to be picking that guy up. But there's no one picking this guy up, so he goes across to this one, leaves him completely unmarked, and he has all the time in the world to put it past Yates. And I don't know if we have a route back into this game. What do I do? Let's get Shane Phillips on. Not for any particular reason, just because he's Shane Phillips and I like him. We'll do it that way round maybe. Is there anything you're any good at? Not really. Ball-winning midfielder is the closest. Can any of these go out wide? Harris, I don't want to stick Harris out wide. Well, let's just hope we find a goal from somewhere. We've got 3 strikers on. For as long as we've got 3 strikers on the pitch, there's always a chance for a goal. Here's Harris, in behind, squares it to Mara, and there is your goal. And it was Harris getting in behind. We haven't seen him do it all game, but he gets one opportunity to use his pace, gets in behind, and there was a cue to tuck that away. Mara and Powell were both there, and that was exactly the kind of goal James Hayter used to score when we played this exact system. It's a lovely finish from Mara. I think that's his first goal for us. He might have got one in the league, but I don't remember it. Drew Matthews at left back was bent over looking absolutely shattered there. We need to keep an eye on him. Not that we can make any more changes, but be a little bit worried about this area of the pitch. Right, Lynch over the top to Harris again. He's got another opportunity. Harris scores, and all of a sudden Anthony Harris has got in behind twice and turned the game completely on its head. With 10 minutes to go, it's Guiseley 2, Holme 3, and we're this close. We could be about to make it into the first round proper of the FA Cup for the first time in the club's history. Like most stuff is at the moment. Harris has done brilliantly there. For a 17-year-old, wearing the captain's armband, what an absolute hero. I know the media are talking about Dean Morris at the moment, but how nobody has come in with an offer for Harris, I don't know. And we've immediately conceded an equaliser. So we're now like this far from the first round proper again. And everything to play for. We've already had an 8-6 this season. A replay would be absolutely fine. I can live with a replay. It is yet another cup game if we have a replay, but it is a game that Kieran Sheridan would then be back for, who has been a big player for us this season. O'Sullivan just hasn't been up to that standard. I think that is an area of the squad that we still do need to strengthen. Another attacking midfielder for when Sheridan isn't available. And we've given them a lot of space again here, and they've killed us off right at the death. There's been a lot of goals in the last 10 minutes of this game. Come on, lads. We've got 5 minutes. Have we got it in us again to turn the game back on its head again? This has been a roller coaster of emotions. I guess putting post-match interview hat on, it is for the best for our promotion push that we're no longer distracted by the FA Cup. We gave it a good go against multiple teams playing at a higher level than us, and now we are done now. We know we can compete 2 divisions higher than we are with this squad of players. We also know we're not going to have this squad of players when we do get to that level eventually, but I guess for the rest of this season. Now, we are still in the FA Trophy and the League Cup as well, but I don't care about either of them. Neither of them are going to give us any kind of money. I'm not interested in winning cups just for the sake of putting something in the trophy cabinet. We don't even have a trophy cabinet at the moment. And if you've seen how far away from home IKEA is, we don't have to go and buy a cabinet just yet. So I guess now it's 100% focus on the league. You gave it a good effort, lads. Well done. But now we focus on the league. Right, we have to give it a... I am going to be passionate. I don't know. Okay, let's be assertive. Unlucky. It would have been nice to win, but yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. I'm so disappointed. Let's see if we got any money. If we got money, then it's still okay. We'll see what I think the bank balance was just in the black before the game started. There weren't very many fans there, so even with a gate split like there is in the FA Cup, we've not really made any money from gate receipts. It's whether there's any prize money for being knocked out in each round. But I suspect there probably isn't, because you get the prize money when you win in the round before. But let's have a look. Oh, there you go. We received £960 for losing. So all in all, that puts our bank balance. I mean, we made another £7,000 out of that game. So actual for the season profit, we are running at a profit still at the moment. We're definitely going to tumble back into the red sooner rather than later. But it's done a nice job of keeping us afloat for a little while. It is our first defeat for a long time, though. And now we need to bounce back against Knaresborough and get ourselves back to the top of the league where we belong. Back to reality in the league then, away against Knaresborough. Just the one change. Sheridan comes straight back into the team because Sheridan has been awesome this year. 7 appearances, in fact, forget the league. We've played more cup games than league games. In all competitions, 15 games, 6 goals on a 7.33. That is quite the step up in form compared to last season. So Sheridan does come straight back in behind Powell and Harris. Other than that, we are the same side. Remember, we've just pushed it really hard against a team fighting for promotion from the National League North. They're 3rd in that division at the moment. So for us to have pushed it as hard as we did, I know we conceded 5 goals, but we should be all right. Right, a team such as ours, yeah, let's be arrogant. That would do us good. We should be beating a team like this. That's exactly the kind of attitude we need to take into this game. Right, Matthews over the top to Powell. Powell looked like he was trying to fly to get on the end of that, and it ended up just falling over. Matthews tries to tackle and messes it up completely. And now we have a player run into another player. This hasn't been the most positive start in the world. We've had 3 fairly incompetent looking instances. Right, let's refocus a little bit here. We're in Knaresborough in the league. We need to, right then, relegation threatened. We know if we win, we go back up to 2nd place in the league with a game in hand. But we do need to win games like this, against teams like this, against this kind of dirty Knaresborough. Right, Harris is in behind and should have scored. I had my Harris has scored voice on. Come on now, lads. Right, Sheridan to take the corner. Onto the head of Parkin. That's his name, isn't it? Not Perkin. Parkin. It is Parkin. It was a good header, but it is collected fairly easily by the Knaresborough keeper. And other than that, we've not really created anything yet. Powell and Harris, still not... it seems like a mad thing to say, but they're not really clicking together as a partnership, which seems insane considering the amount of goals that they score, but they rarely both play really well together. Obviously, we had the playoffs last year where Harris is winning the penalties for Powell to tuck away, but even then, that's not them playing well together. That's them both playing well, which is a different thing. They don't really look like a partnership, and it's a bit of a worry for games like this. Right, let's be aggressive. Let's sort them out. I'm not happy with the performance. We should be ahead. They're fired up. Let's get out there and get ahead. They've had more shots than us in that first half. We're supposed to be the team who have been taking on... or we've got an England under-19 international in our team, for goodness sake. Come on now, lads. Harris is having another terrible game. Morris isn't playing particularly well. Sheridan's not playing particularly well. We have got lots of options on the bench, but it shouldn't be this hard against a team like this. Right. Harris can come off, and we'll bring on Emil Aqua to play as the advanced forward. And I haven't really got anyone to bring on for Sheridan. But you know what? I'm going to take off Dean Morris as well and bring on Shane Phillips for him. Take off the 2 stars and just say, just to show the rest of the team, look, none of you are irreplaceable. Let's go do it without them so that the next game they try and make sure we do it with them. Still nothing. I mean, answers on a postcard. What do we try here? Let's get Parkin off. Lynch on. That's another fairly typical change. I'm going to demand more straight after this highlight, unless we score it, of course. It's back off the crossbar, and Max Beeston gets his first ever goal for us. It's taken until the 80th minute. My word, have we made a meal of this. But hopefully that should be enough to pick up a win. When I guess morale is a little bit, we could have been in the FA Cup first round. But fingers crossed that's going to be enough. We should be able to hold on to it because Knaresborough have been no threat. I thought they were going to score as I'm saying they've been no threat. Right, here's Mick Powell. What's he going to do? Back to Farah. Farah, ball forward towards Sheridan. We've got men up with him here. This is a counter-attack and a half, but we just run straight into their players, and now they're going to do it straight back to us. And Farah was miles far forward, but he made it all the way back. That's some good commentary as well. Miles far forward. You don't get that on Radio 5, do you? Sheridan to Weeks. Weeks over the top for Aqua to chase. How quick is he? Pretty quick. Plays it across to Powell. What a goal. That was the sort of goal you get when Harris and Powell play well together, which isn't very often. But it was Aqua using his pace to get in behind the Knaresborough defence and just square it across to the man he knows isn't going to miss. A confident, informed striker has a go himself there, but the first touch is just to square it across to Powell, who's in space, tucks it away. 19 goals so far this season now for Mick Powell. It's October, and he's already scored 19 goals. How many had Harris got by October last year? I've said before that I don't think Anthony Harris's 40 goals last year will ever be beaten. Is Mick Powell going to beat it the very next season? Because that's mad if he does. Right. Pressure's off now. I'm not that bothered about what Knaresborough are up to, faffing about here on the left wing. Do your worst. Oh, they're going to score, aren't they? We've left... don't do your worst. There's still 4 minutes left. This is going to be very upsetting if we don't win this game. I'll be very cross. Forget your silly highlight. Let's show some passion. Come on, just get some crunching tackles in. This should be it. And I think it is it. Is it it? Why is the ball still in play? 30 seconds on top of the time added on they're supposed to be, but there you go, the game is over. We have secured a win. We are back up to second in the league again. We did get away with that today. You were rubbish. That's fired them up ready for the next game, which is inexplicably 2 cup games in a row again now. FA Trophy and League Cup. Can we just at some point, this is silly, there are too many cups at this level, let us play back-to-back league games, because we haven't at all. Have we? Since August, we haven't had back-to-back league games. We need to get knocked out of these 2 and then just play 10 league games in a row and win them all. Because despite the fact we're barely playing any games, we're still second in the league with a game in hand. We should win the league this year, but the cups are too much of a distraction. They're going to cost us if we're not careful. We need to get knocked out of them. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.